Always leading the club head, at least that takeaway position. All right, never passing the chest. Feel where everything's turning behind, but now the left chest is going down, and I get this sort of nice width at the top of the swing. If we're here, we're cramped. If we're here, we've got room to swing, all right? The takeaway, it's often referenced as the most important thing in the golf swing. It isn't really the most important thing, but it does have a profound effect on the type of move you make for the rest of the swing, because it does start from there. If you are too much on the inside in your takeaway, for example, it can cause challenges on the backswing, which then causes challenges on the downswing and impact. So why don't we give ourselves a bit of a better chance? Why don't we just have a feeling and a sensation that is, one, easy to repeat, two, you don't have to think about it too much, and three, delivers the results that are perfect for you and your golf swing. Not Tiger Woods, not Rory McIlroy, you, okay? So let's get into it. Hi, I'm Alex Forte. This is The Art of Simple Golf, where we're just trying to make the game, this crazy, frustrating game at times, more enjoyable and easier to give you the results that you want without having to either spend thousands of hours practicing or watching millions of hours of YouTube. Anyway, what we're talking about today is a takeaway feel that I know is going to benefit a lot of you, especially if you take it on the inside or if you just have difficulty and kind of feeling a decent backswing, all right? Now, I mentioned previously that, you know, if we have a takeaway that has extreme movements, all right, there's going to be compensations then, which is just more hard work. And we don't really want more work because our focus, the objective of golf is to get this ball into the hole in a fewer shots as we can. And if we're thinking so much, even about the minutiae, about like how to start the swing, where's my backswing, and things like this, and then trying to sort of adjust as you're going along, man, you're gonna struggle a lot. So we want to just try and find a neutral sort of feeling, one that allows momentum that isn't too hard on the body, okay? So first, let me kind of explain a tiny bit about what we're talking when the hands come too much in the inside. Even if you're trying to get a bit of width and the hands are a bit on the inside here, doesn't necessarily, I'm not referring to like the line of the shaft here, okay? It's just where the hands are. If the hands are being pulled across the chest, okay, where we're losing this space, what happens is we kind of get to this sort of backswing position where the elbow is here. We're going to struggle with distance. We're going to generally tend to come a little bit steeper in that sense. We want to kind of have a bit more neutrality and a bit more width. And we can do that with a better takeaway. So let me ask you this. Do you find that you struggle with the takeaway? Do you feel that like you kind of get stuck halfway back and then you have to lift the arms and everything just sort of goes and feels out of sync? Some days it might feel fine, but then the next day it's like, man, I lost my swing. It wasn't out of sync. The chances are it's because you're getting a bit deep with the hands and the takeaway is just sort of out of sync with the body, the torso, the lower body, everything. Let's make it easier. But let me know if that's you. What we're talking about is we want sort of width, right? But not trying to force it with a big turn. We're just allowing the body to sort of move in a free-flowing motion, but give us the kind of swing that we want. And we do it not by flipping the hands on the inside, not by doing this. You can do that. You can do that here. You know, you can even start the swing just here, and then we sort of rotate up. But that takes a little bit of practice. And it also takes a few other things to work correctly with the hips, stuff like this. So let's get the biggest bang for buck. As we take the club away, instead of the club coming on the inside and going deep and the arms being pulled this way, because that's what it feels like. As soon as I'm here, it feels weird to kind of lift the arms up that way. It's just easier to sort of do this, which is going to look something like that, all right? And then we're sort of hitting and forcing through. Hold on, let's just set this, and the swing might look something a little bit like this, okay? And the results are going to be fine, but it's not ideal. It's certainly not optimal. So all I want you to do is think about the takeaway in two ways. The first way I want you to think about the takeaway is just as I am to the camera with you, or someone standing behind you, I want you to feel like the club face is pointing at the camera just a little bit longer, okay? Just that little bit longer. We don't want it going too far, and we'll get into that in a second, but the initial movement is just that. So it's staying a little bit more towards you. That's the first thing. But as we do that, I don't really care how you do it. Just feel like the club face, the back of the club face, well, not the club face, the back of the club, the back of the club is just pointing to you a little bit longer. Doesn't mean I'm kind of doing this, just till I get to about knee height, all right? Just about there. That's the feeling. But notice, we want to feel the weight of the club. We want gravity to be assisting us as we make this swing. We don't want to be dead rigid here and then have to force up. We don't want that. We want it to just sort of start and then flow, okay? A natural guiding flow. So again, feel the weight of the club. Have a good grip on it. But as you make your takeaway, okay, we don't want the hands to pass the chest, the buttons in the center of the chest. We sort of initiate it with the core or whatever feels right to you. And we're here. And what this is going to do, just from this position, even if I don't try and do anything different, my backswing is going to be a lot more sort of in front of me. And I can get a little bit more depth behind me, very significant in the different feeling that you're going to get. But we're not trying to force it into positions. I hope that makes sense. And the way we need to keep practicing it is with that vision of the club staying sort of towards you. But then, almost like the arms are sort of constant in this position here, all right? The only thing that happens from this place is the club just to sort of tilt back and just sort of fall back. In a way, it might even feel like the swing for you ends here. The swing might even end here, then momentum will carry on a little bit further, because that's going to give you the longer backswing. But you see, to get that sort of backswing fix, we want depth all the way back here. But it's very difficult to achieve that physically for a lot of you, but especially if we're drawing the hands in or whipping the club in, it's very difficult to kind of get that depth. So we want a bit more neutrality. So everything is working. The hands are ahead of the club head. The club head is outside of the hands. From this angle, the club head is outside of the hands, and then we get the full turn. And what's going to happen is you've got a lot more room on the downswing, a lot more room. If we're here, we're cramped. If we're here, we've got room to swing, all right? Much easier, much, much easier. But remember to feel the weight of the club. Always feel the weight of the club. And that's the little checkpoints. If you want to place a ball sort of behind, just a few inches, to encourage that feeling here, okay, that's going to work very well, just to brush that back. And, you know, don't rush into it. Don't snatch away. Have a, you know, it's smooth. Doesn't necessarily mean slow, but just smooth. Everything working together here, even if it's just, in fact, I'd really like you to try this with just your lead arm, left for me, whatever it is for you. and just trying to ensure that the club doesn't pass the center of the chest and the hands are kind of leading it, all right? That's going to give us a very repeatable takeaway. Once you've got the takeaway, the rest just kind of happens if you allow it. And one of the best sensations is for that left chest to go down, okay? And then we have a golf swing, or at least a backswing, but we can accelerate through without thinking about it too much. It repeats so often because we're just here, all right? It's the left side, there, that feels good. Then I swing up, and that's it, okay? Now I'm giving myself the width that I want. Let me know, does that feel right to you? And, you know, with longer clubs, you're gonna get a bit more width, like with a driver or something. It's gonna look quite a bit different. I've actually only got like a 8-iron in my hands there, so it's a bit difficult to get depth. But let's say we are here, okay? Same sensation, feeling the weight of the club. I'm even just sort of rehearsing this start feel where everything's turning behind, but now the left chest is going down and I get this sort of nice width at the top of the swing. Here, there, perfect. I'm not trying to bring the arms in, I'm not whipping the hands in, it just flows naturally. And if you're struggling, if it feels a bit tight, just allow the arms to be a little bit softer, okay? As you swing through, the arms just a little bit softer. And do that, all right? Hopefully that's simple enough. I didn't want to give too many thoughts or cues, all right? But just to recap, to feel like the back of the club is going towards you a little bit longer. Second is the hands are always leading the club head, at least that takeaway position. All right, never passing the chest, always just this sort of sensation there, okay? Next is to really feel the weight of the club. Don't try and force it into those placements, don't be rigid. And next is to sort of complete the rest of the swing, just keep that left chest going sort of down, okay? The left chest going down, and you make your backswing perfectly fine here. That's where I'm stopping as I'm demonstrating, but momentum will always take us a little bit further if we need to. But if it doesn't matter. And if you don't believe me, check out the short backswing lesson. There's a couple of them, not too long ago actually, so I'll try and link them below. But there we have it. If you have any questions, let me know. If you liked it, give it a like and subscribe and all that. And there's a free series below as well. So see you next time.